All right, well, time to hand over to Jenny Moutou. So, who here, by a show of hands, who here's a Canva user? Just give us a show of hands if you are. Fantastic. Who's never touched the platform? Anyone never touched it yet? Excellent, perfect. Well, for both of you, tonight is the night. I know Jenny's going to be covering off a whole range of things tonight. So whether you're a beginner or well into the platform, you'll definitely learn some things tonight. So those that don't know Jenny, she is the person that is the trainer of the Canva program that we do run here at Smash Go and Business Owners Smash Go Online. The reason why she's the trainer is she knows her way around the platform and I do not. So she's the expert of all this, and she has been exploring some of the tools that are available in the platform. And as I say, there've been new ones that have dropped just today. So without further ado, let's welcome to the floor, Jenny Moutou.
You need to mute.
All right, let me mute myself.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. I hope you are all fantastic this evening. As Nick said at the beginning of the session, if you have Canva open on a second screen, I would encourage you to do that and just go along with me today. If there was a second title for today's session, I'd like to call it Easy Content. I've been working with a couple of people lately and also just doing my own stuff and transitioning between Canva and ChatGPT and having a look at what are the best integrations between those two. So I'll be showing you some of the things that I've discovered and calling on you. So if I'm going to share a couple of prompts as I go through that I've been using that I find really effective. And if you have any prompts that you'd like to share with me, I would definitely encourage that. So by all means, let me know. Also, everybody was very gracious, said you were all really keen to learn, but nobody really gave me some feedback on specific things that you'd like to learn. So if anything comes up, one of my biggest fears in running these sessions is someone is going to hit me with a curveball that I don't know the answer to. So if you can do that today, I would totally encourage it. All right. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. See if we can get this going. All right, and if I've done that successfully, you should now be able to see my Canva screen. I'm also going to turn off my camera because I'm going to be spending all of my time looking up. There we go. Excellent. All right. So the first thing I want to cover as we go through this is Nick has been talking a lot about lead magnets for a while now, and most of you, running your own businesses will have some form of lead magnet together with the content that you're putting together. So I'm going to share some ideas. And one of the things that is really fascinating me the most, and it's not surprising, is the psychology of content creation. And it's the psychology that goes behind marketing your brand and your business. So I'm going to focus a little bit on that today. So the first thing I would encourage everybody to do, if you haven't already, is to set up a brand kit. Now I have to admit that I probably took way too long to set this up, but and Canva will have a number of different navigations, but on the left-hand navigation under the home button or the home screen is something called brand. So if you go ahead and click on that, Canva allows you to set up a number of brand kits. So a brand kit is just essentially, and the quickest way to set this up, it's the predominant colors that you use in your business, and it is the predominant fonts that are associated with your brand. So to set up a brand kit, you would simply click on the brand kit button. You can see I've got a couple of brand kits that have been set up here. So one for Smash Go, one test, and tester 2. So you would just go over to the right-hand side and click add new. And guys, I'm going to move at whatever pace I need to, but if you need to stop me, by all means, please interrupt. So you would give your brand kit a name. So let's just call it tester 3 for this purpose. Go ahead and create. And from there, you could then go and do a number of things. So you could upload your logo. You can create your color palette. So you would just click on that circle, put in the hex codes. I'm not going to do it right this second. And however many hex codes you have, you can just keep going along. So you would just do the next one and the next one and the next one and so on and so forth. As you go down, then you can select your fonts. So it's up to you whether you want to use title fonts, subtitles, generally depending on what you're creating. I mean, if you're writing a book, you may want all of those. Generally things like a heading, subheading, and body, and maybe even a quote are the things that you would do. But if you wanted to go ahead and fill all of those out, you could. You just simply click on title, choose the font that you want. So just choose League Spartan. You can change the font size if you wanted to. And when you're happy with that, you just keep scrolling into the next box and then the next box and then the next box. And that's how you would set up your brand kit. You can also set up a brand voice. So I had a bit of a play with this today. And essentially the brand voice is a way to attract people to your brand, as it says right underneath here. And you would just put a description in. So I think earlier today I was using Jeff Veal's business as an example, said that I had a VA agency, that we like to be warm and friendly and help small businesses. And I just made this up, in the real estate sector, and just type that in as a way of helping to shape the content and also the look and feel of the styles that I got in return for putting that effort in. Then you can go through, there's photos, graphics, etc. So if you haven't set up a brand kit, I will highly recommend that you do that. And I'm going to show you as we go along today why that's of benefit. All right, so that's number one on your list. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and open up a document. And for those of you who haven't used Canva for a while, or you're struggling with some content for your business, this particular tool is fantastic. So opening up, you have access to something called Magic Write, and it's available across different templates. So Instagram posts, Facebook posts, things like that, that you're creating in Canva. But one of the easiest ways to use it is here. So you would open up a document, click on the Magic Write, and who have I got in front of me? Paul, I've got you in front of me. So I'd say, give me 10 tips for dealing with grief and dying, for instance, you know, if you wanted to create some content around that, and then you would just simply generate. So Magic Write is one of the AI tools within Canva, and it will go ahead and create this content. So from here, I can review this. I can ask it to make some adjustments. So more like this, but, or I can just go ahead and insert. So for the sake of time, we will just go ahead and insert. For those of you who have done my Canva program or are familiar with this, you could then go ahead and turn, I'm just going to make this larger so you can see it. You can now go ahead and turn this into posts. So literally open up a, so let me just see if this is going to work. I'm just switching screens or switching tabs. Are you able to see the new tab? Yep, excellent. All right, so I would just go into templates. Oops. Go ahead. It's probably going to be easier. I would select, so this is the novice way of doing this. We're going to build on this as we go along today. So just say I'm going to do an Instagram square post. The internet's a little bit slow. And on the left-hand side, it's giving me a whole bunch of different templates that I could use. So I'm going to use something with a natural theme to it, since we're talking about grief and dying, and hopefully I can find something fairly suitable. So I could probably use something like this. And you can see once I've selected it, I've got a whole bunch of other options that sort of come up. So I'm sure this is not your style at all, Paul, but I'm just going to choose this anyway. Here is an example.
If that's
So now I have
bin,
two
we could put
different
the
sort of
bin.
styles here. I can actually get rid of this. And some of the things that you can do here is, so my goal is to go across to this document and simply copy that text and paste it into this post. And then there's some zhuzhing I have to do. So I want to get rid of, but let's make the text in a color that you can see. So I'm just selecting the text, getting rid of the number, making the font size larger so that you can see that, probably a little too large. And then I can go into the position and just select center and middle and just fix that up. And there we go. So it's still really hard to read. And some of the features that Canva have is if I select those leaves, I can actually go on the transparency of that post and just make that lighter, which then means I've got to make the text darker and a little bit finicky, but you get there eventually, right? The point is that you don't have to actually go and think of all of those posts that you need to create yourself. You can use Write Magic to then create that for you. Okay, so that's level 1. A little bit time consuming, a little bit finicky. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Is it possible to write an article for a journal without having to actually write an article for a journal?
Peter, I just missed the very beginning of that. Could you say it again?
Is it possible to write an article for a journal? So you're not talking about just the, you know, like the local rag, talking like proper academic journal without having to actually write it. Well, you know, how much do you have to put in yourself?
Okay, so what would the article be about?
It could be about, I don't know, the elements of business development and growth.
Okay, so let's try it. Okay, we're doing this together. So write an academic style article on business development and growth, did you say?
Yeah, yeah.
On business development and growth.
With new concepts.
Please use cited articles and incorporate new content. I don't spell very often these days, so forgive me if it's not quite there. All right, so I'm playing with this because I'm not too sure. I've moved to ChatGPT for a lot of these features. So let's just have a look. What I really would implore all of you to take notice of more than anything are the prompts that are being used to create these rather than the results of the technology. Okay, so the prompt was write an academic style article on business development and growth. Please use cited articles or cited / evidence-based research and incorporate new concepts, right? Generate. Let's see what it does. And if I wanted to, with that prompt, I could also ask it to limit to a certain word count or a character count. There we go. We've got the references in there. Okay, and I'm just going to insert this so that we can have a look and see what it actually produced.
If this is on Canva, does ChatGPT also do that?
Yes, and I can take you through a little bit of that today.
ChatGPT I use a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So here you go. You've got your article, you've got research by Harvard, for instance, cited in there.
Yeah.
And it's all written and you didn't have to write it yourself. So what I'm going to do is give you the ability to view this result for yourself.
Yeah.
And it'll be available. I'm not going to take it down essentially anytime soon. So if you click on that link in the chat, you'll actually be able to take a closer look at this inside of your own Canva when you have a minute. All right. Thank you, Peter. That was excellent. Okay, so that is the first option of what we can do in Magic Write. I am just going to create a new.
Jenny, Janine here. Can I just interrupt,
Yes,
please? I put a message in. I put in a topic that just said 5 points about massage therapy, or ideas about massage therapy. It came up with the list and then it disappeared and said, this topic may not be intended for Magic Write. Try another topic. But actually gave me the list and then disappeared.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to get stuff like that sometimes. I know that it's going back a couple months ago now, but I asked Canva using the AI image creator to create a picture of a girl watching TV. So like a 7-year-old girl watching TV. And again, it just raises red flags for different reasons. So
right, the massage might have been what triggered it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks.
That's okay. All right. So everybody ready to move on to level 2? Excellent. All right. So level 2, we're going to go back to, let's see, actually, I might have. All right. So for level 2, I'm going to go to something I created earlier, which is again a, here we go. All right, so using Jeff Veal's business, I got Canva to produce using Magic Write 10 tips for using a VA, for instance, or 10 quotes around using a VA in your business. So one of the things that you can do with this now is you can go ahead and select the 10 tips and copy that and put it in a spreadsheet. So I've got a clean spreadsheet here and I can just go ahead and Control V and paste that in. Now, let's see if I can split this out. Split to columns. That's not quite what I wanted, but that's all right. Okay, so in this, now that I've got this in a spreadsheet, I'm going to call this spreadsheet VA quotes. And now we're going to do a bulk creation. So there is this feature in Canva that will allow you to create a whole bunch of posts at the same time. So instead of doing what I showed you before, where it's just one at a time, now I'm going to go to Instagram. I'm going to use my brand kit and color this slide and then put in my different things. So I've got a heading that I want to put into this post. I've got a subheading that I want to put in, and that's about it for this stage. So the heading will be the actual quote and the subheading will be the person who the quote is by. So I'm going to go over to my spreadsheet and actually download it as a CSV file. And then go back to my Instagram post and go over to, if you go into apps on the left-hand side, there is an option for bulk create. Anybody use this already? So bulk create allows you to do two things. So you can either upload data from the CSV file or you can enter data manually. So just for argument's sake, this time I'm going to enter data manually. I would clear this table, go over to my spreadsheet, select cell. It's only one cell, so I'll just copy that and paste it into, so Control V will paste it in. And now that's all populated. Now, you remember I have two options in here. The second one was for who said the quote. So in this case, because I haven't spread out who actually said it and the actual quote, it's all in the one column. So it's going to appear all in the one column when I do this. And we're going to progress as we go along. You'll see how this all works. So if I click done, I can now go along to this heading and connect the data. So when you connect data, it'll give you the options. So because I've only got one cell field in my spreadsheet, I just select that one cell, which I can rename. And if I click continue, what this will now do is it will ask me if I want to create pages based on the data that I've entered. So all of the fields in my spreadsheet can now be populated automatically. And if I click generate 10 designs, it'll go ahead and do that. And you can see that there is a little bit of tweaking required here. So you're going to have to format this. And the more you can do that ahead of time, the better it's going to be. But it just gives you a bit of an idea of how this would work. So that's the first one, second one, third, all populated automatically. At the beginning of this week, I asked my team if they kept a spreadsheet of all the posts that we ever created, to which JM responded in almost disgust. No, Jenny, like, that's too much hard work. And it's really funny because what I find is what I'm getting to see is by using these tools going, and I'll keep showing you there's more elements to add to this, you can actually create quite a database of content that you can then just keep repurposing and keep reposting over time. Very easy to do and would actually save you a whole heap of time in the long run. So just something to keep in mind. All right, any questions about that particular process? Nope. All right. Okay. Was it Peter? You asked me about the article. I'm going to use an example now of ChatGPT. So I created this lead magnet some time back, and what I did earlier today was actually downloaded this. So this is a made-up dog grooming business, and I just created a lead magnet to promote it, downloaded it as a PDF, and then I uploaded it into ChatGPT. So I want to show you what I did. So the first thing, again, paying attention to the prompts. And again, if you've got some tips for me, I'm all ears. I asked it, because of this Excel spreadsheet feature in Canva, it's going to make creating content a lot easier. So I've uploaded this PDF document and I said, hi chat, I created a lead magnet from my business. Can you create 15 Instagram posts from this lead magnet? Can you present this in a table format where column, I imply, but column 1 is the number 2 is the heading, number 3 is the description, in less than 160 characters, because I'm making an Instagram post. Number 4 is the suggestions for the images to accompany each post. And number 5 is a call to action. If you understand, type in alien and a potato, just for a little bit fun. And there's the alien and the potato on my screen. All right, so this is the results. Now you can link Canva to ChatGPT, and I'm about to show you how to do that. But what I think this is a much better format. So Jeff, I'm going to be keen to hear what you think about this, but let's have a look at what it's produced. So it's given me the number of posts. So there's my 15 posts. It's given me a headline for those posts. So introducing positivity, fabulous, I should say, and then a description, an image suggestion, and a call to action. Really great, because now I don't have to do too much thinking. Now from here, I can actually go ahead and now ideally what I should be able to do is copy this table and link this up with Canva and have Canva produce the images. But the software and the technology is still a bit clunky. And so what I'm finding is that Canva will produce at best 2 images rather than the whole 15. So let's have a look and see what we can do here. So I'm going to copy and paste the first 2. And in order to connect Canva with ChatGPT, you do not, apparently, because I found this out after the fact, but you don't need a paid copy of ChatGPT. You can actually go into Explore GPTs, and there is a number of different tools here. And if you go into productivity, you'll see Canva comes up, and you can just select Canva from there. Click Start Chat. And then I'm going to ask Chat, can you produce the images as suggested? And sometimes these prompts work well and sometimes they don't. In the table provided. Oh, and I've reached my maximum. Damn. Okay. So let's have a look at some that I prepared earlier. So here's an example of, I plugged in, there's a logo maker, a logo creator you can see on the left hand of my screen. I asked it a few times to create for me a logo, and then it's giving me a couple of prompts I needed to put in, etc. And this is what it came back with. Didn't really like that so much. Then I tried the logo design in Canva, and again, got better at the prompt, but it was just pulling out templates that already existed in Canva rather than creating something specific for me. So I wasn't particularly impressed about that. Let's have a look and see if I've got some. All right, so here's an example where I've connected Canva with Chat and asked it to produce an image for me. I had a table of, 15 different posts in here, and it's just gone ahead and made one only. So it's worth having a play to see what kind of results you get. I'm not a huge fan of the AI sort of generated images, but everyone has their own preferences. So here's an example of another one that got created with the Canva plugin. And if I select that, it will actually just go right into Canva and open up that image, so I can then make the edits if I want to from there. And this is where your brand kit comes in handy, because if it's already set up, you can go ahead and just click on the colors and, things just change automatically, and you can select how you want it to look. And this creates some uniformity in all of your posts. Any questions about that one? Am I going okay? I haven't lost you all. All right, excellent. So that's using ChatGPT with Canva. And we're going to get a little bit more complex here. So these are some other posts that it created. Again, I wasn't too much of a fan of these, and everybody has their own preference. What is good about doing it with the Canva plugin as opposed to some of the others is that it will actually open up in Canva, and then you can go ahead and make the edits if you need to. Okay. Let's see. Right, so we're going to go up. What are we up to? About level 3. Okay, so here is another way to do this. Rather than getting Canva to create the images for you with the ChatGPT plugin, why I asked it to give me an image selection is because I discovered that Canva is actually better at creating those images and selecting those images. So with the image selection in mind, all I need to do is, so for that first post, all I need to do is copy the image selection, and I go over to Canva. I'm going to get rid of this. And I go over to elements, and I just literally paste in that image description into Canva as is, no edits. And I can choose from graphics if I want that kind of look, or photos, or videos. Now, because my lead magnet is more real images rather than that sort of cartoony or graphic-y kind of look, I could just go in and select whatever photo I like and then put it in there. Now, it could still be a potentially manual process if you're just copying and pasting. But we now understand that we've got access to this Excel spreadsheet that we can use for bulk creations. So here's the next level of tips, is that I would actually go ahead and pick out, so I'd copy and paste all of these image selections one by one into Canva, and I would end up with a row of different images on separate tiles. So here's one I prepared earlier. Hopefully I can find it. There we go. All right, so earlier today, I created these images and had them all set up in Canva. So they're all lined up here and taking up all the pages. So there are 5 images in total, and you can see them on the left-hand side there. And once they were all done, I then downloaded them. It seems crazy that this is the case, but it is right now. So I downloaded all of those images, because what I've ended up doing is creating an asset base of these images. So once they were saved, I then re-uploaded them, which is why you can see them here. So now that I've got them in my uploads, I'm going to select them and move them to a folder and create new. And this folder is specifically for the Pause lead magnet. So I'm going to call it the Pause lead magnet assets and move it to that folder. Okay, great. Then what I've done is I've gone over into my Excel spreadsheet and I've copied in all of the elements of that table into my Excel spreadsheet. So you can see I've got a headline, a description, an image suggestion, and a call to action. So I don't need the image selection anymore, so I can just get rid of that for now. And I've still got the call to action, which I need, and that's great. So to conserve time, what I'm going to do here is download this as a CSV file, and it's done. And then just get rid of these. And I'm going to do a bulk creation now. Now that everything's been prepared, I can just do a bulk creation. So I've got, what have I got in there? I've got a headline, a description, and a call to action. So, whoops, where are we? Headline, left aligned, a description, I'll do that in the subtitle. Again, I'll make sure it's left aligned. Then we've got a call to action, left aligned. I might make that a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to need an image. So just going to grab a frame and put the frame in there at the back. All right, great. Now I'm going to do the bulk upload. So everything I've showed you before, this is just building on that. So if you'll recall, we go to apps. We will select the bulk upload. And this time I'm going to do an upload data and select my pause spreadsheet. And you can see here all of there's the number on the left-hand side, the headline, the description, and the call to action. So we need to now map this. So for the heading, we're going to connect data to the headline. For the subheading, we're going to connect data to the description. And for the body, we're going to connect data to the call to action. Right, one more thing I forgot to do. Let's go back. Okay, this is interesting. All right, so sorry to confuse you. I'm going to copy and paste instead. And do the upload manually. So clear table, and then just Control V to copy everything in. And the reason I've done that is I would like to add images. So all of those images that I took the time to create and then save and then put in my folder, I'd like to add those in. So I'd go into add image, and then here I'm going to look for my pause lead magnet assets. That's the folder I want. And now I'm going to look for, this is post 1, so this is asset number 1, and then go ahead and do that for the others. 2, 3, 4, and we'll just do 5. That's quite all right. We can see what happens with the rest when we don't do that. So that'll be done. And then apologies, but now I've got to connect the data again. So we've got 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And then the image there. All right. Continue. So we've only got about 5. So we'll do 6. We don't have to do all of those. We can deselect them and then generate the 7 designs. And hopefully this works. Okay, so there are the images I've created. And you can see here, you know, this writing is a little bit small, but that's all right. It's just part of the testing. And you can see that because you've been able to just copy and paste the image description and then look for images, they're a lot more suitable. They work with your brand better, and it's just much easier. So from there, you can then go off and then schedule your posts. And there's your blank one for the things that didn't fill in. All right. Any questions about that one? There's a few more steps involved. Nope. All right. Can I hear from you in regards to prompts or how to make your posts more effective? Do you have any questions in regards to any of that?
I think this is something that we've really got to work on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that the longer it's out there, the more we have to do. And those who came in early is fine, and those who didn't have got a lot of catching up to do. And you know, my middle name's Mr. Ketchup.
Thankfully, there are a lot of resources online, Peter, and you're right that it is kind of, you have to brace yourself, I think, as well, like in terms of how quickly the technology is moving. I do find the prompts aspect very interesting. So one of the things that I've started to do is with the ChatGPT side of things, Firstly, I have only one paid chat GPT account, but I have multiple chat GPT accounts because I won't cross-pollinate them with different things. So one account for one topic and that's it. And what I've started doing is, so for instance, one of my businesses is around Gen Z in the workplace and retention of Gen Z in the workplace. So there's heaps of information in terms of reports put out by Deloitte's and the McKinseys of the world. There's articles put out by recruitment agencies, etc. So before I even start using ChatGPT, the first thing I will do is I will say a little bit about my business. I help Gen Z stay in the workplace. How would you like to start in terms of helping me create a marketing campaign, for instance? Or how would you like to start in terms of helping me create my website content? Or how would you like to start in terms of helping me create, a month's worth of posts? And then chat will respond typically with something, but it's not uncommon for me to find the links to those resources, whether they're reports, articles, etc., and post them in just like I did, whether it's an upload or it's just posting the link. And one of the things that I love about this table feature is I will ask ChatGPT, based on the information that I have just provided you, could you give me, and then start to list out what are the things that I want? Well, I want to know what are the common problems that are cited in these articles? What are the solutions that are cited in these articles? Where are the gaps in terms of the kinds of things that they're talking about that I could potentially fill? In the table, I also want to know the heading of the report. And even though I've given it the link, more than likely I'm going to be downloading this and putting it in my own spreadsheet. So I'll ask for one of those columns to be the heading, the link to the report, the best ideas, the solutions, the gaps, the trends, whatever else I'm looking for, and ask it to present it in that column format.
One of the things I find very interesting just at the moment is the sound of much of what you say going over my head. I'm working with a lot of students at the moment and getting them to appreciate the benefits of the earliest elements of ChatGPT, like design a customer survey of some sort, design a terms and conditions for this industry or that industry or whatever, or make it a long one. And they see what comes up, and that's the sort of level that a lot of people in business are at. What you're doing is really quite advanced. And whereabouts actually are you, incidentally?
I'm based in the Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, okay.
And one of the reasons why I started this way, I hear you in terms of the advance, but there is a certain level of training required with the software, right? And so if I can save myself time by using reports, articles, other things that other people have generated, even for instance, if I was to create a survey, I would find some reports or articles about creating surveys and feed it that before I asked it to do anything for me, because it gives it a context and a framework to operate from. Because without that, I don't know what I'm going to get back, what it's based on, if it's in the coaching industry or the, medical field or wherever.
What do you say? Please read the following article, and then you ask it something.
Yeah, so what do you want to do first of all? I'd like to create a month's worth of posts, or I'd like to write an article with cited, academic references, whatever it happens to be on whatever topic. And then what do you need me to provide you to get started? That's what I would ask the system. Yeah.
Okay, well, perhaps we have to have a further chat later, because I mean these are all very important things, yeah, there's a long way, a lot of information there that I need to develop and understand and build on. That's very interesting. Thank you very much. It's been an eye-opener.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I do find, thank you as well for that feedback. The prompts, I think, are going to get more and more interesting because, I mean, Nick featured a tech tool or a guest speaker just recently, and the AI is using things like word mapping and inferences in your conversations or in how you speak to be able to create the things, you know, the content and the results that it's producing. So I'm thinking that this is going to get even more interesting, but I also think it really challenges us humans to be a lot better in our communication.
Jenny, I just want to add, thank you so much for that. And I agree with everything you said about the prompts that just have to be so specific. I only have one account and I do work with lots of clients, but what I do is I say, hi, Chatty, I'm working with a client at the moment who is in this industry and they're doing this. So Chatty knows it's not mine. And I found it hasn't upset it and that it's not giving me my stuff clearly as well, as long as it knows it's my client.
Yeah, and I think that's good. And also, you know, sometimes what I will do is like even setting up the parameter. This is a container. Do not, you know, use any other references that have been provided. But I like to just maintain the integrity of the voice. So if I've spent some time training it in my voice for my business, I just feel better if I just find another account. It's, you know, I have 50 million emails and it's just easy.
I get that was one of the reasons I held on.
Anyone
But
else? Anyone got some wicked prompts? Sorry, Janine.
No, it's all, I'm always nice. So I think this is a really important thing is say, please, thank you. And you know, maybe have a nickname or something. If AI, when it takes over everything, I just want it to be, oh, that person was really nice.
One of the other prompts I wanted to share with you is, I'll actually just put it in the chat, but I'll read it to you as well. Can you give me a list of, and I like this one, and I think it's quite good for most of you that are on here in the professions and businesses that you own. And I just pasted it in, but can you give me a list of the top 10 books about, and you'd enter your topic. In this case, I put grief and dying. For each of these books, can you select 3 quotes that people find popular? And I'd like you to organize the 15 quotes again in a table. Number 1, number of the quote, name of the book, quote of the book, author of the book, and make sure the quote is shorter than 280 characters. If you understand me, give me a peace sign and a dove. And of course it does that anyway. What I like about this, particularly with what I've showed you today in terms of transferring things over to spreadsheets and then creating your tiles as you will for your different platforms, is that you start to build up that database and that data bank of content. So you're not constantly trying to find content. And I think that if you did this for a good 3 to 6 months, you'd have so much content. You probably take the rest of the year off and just regurgitate what you'd already created. So JM, I hope you're paying attention. Anything else?
No.
No? All right. So there are tools and apps being added to Canva all the time. Some of them are better than others. Canva has opened up a whole app development platform. So their goal is for you to get on the platform and never leave. So they're doing things like enabling you to set up your Facebook ads from there. Of course, you can schedule your posts from there. And they're looking at developing their AI even more. So stay tuned. And actually, just before I got on today, I found out there was a course feature. So if I can just really quickly share this with you. For those of you who do have your own courses and looking for a platform to host that, Canva has a course platform. So if my screen will come up, I'll be able to show it to you. And I encourage you to have a bit of a play in there. All right, so to get to the course, you'd simply go from the home screen. Click the 3 dots that say more. and if it doesn't come up for you, you can simply type in course, but mine is just showing up right there, and you can click on that. So if you are creating any courses, give this a go. One of the things that I think this could be really useful for is if you have whether you have a book, I have a podcast, or some other content that you're putting out there that could potentially be repurposed. One of the things that you can do, particularly if it's on YouTube, there is an app called the YouTube Summary with ChatGPT. There you go, Nick, I'm stealing your thunder here. And Claude, that's a Chrome extension that you can download. And what it does is really pretty freaking amazing. So I've installed this extension, and here's Coach David, and he's done a video. And if you look over on the right-hand side here, this transcript provides a whole summary of everything that David is talking about. So if you've got content on YouTube channels, this is something that you could then use to strip out the text and then bring it into your coursework in some way, or any other way, really, if you're creating blogs from your online content. So it's pretty exciting where the tech is going.
So how can we find you, Jenny?
Link for, oh, sorry, the link for that one?
The link for that one, yeah, let me just put it in the chat. You can find me, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Will reach out to you, Peter. How's that?
You reach out to me and I'll be there.
Okay. Let me just check if
My
Nick
hand's
has
in
your
my pocket.
details. Yep. All right. Excellent. I will contact you.
Thank you.
Okay. And Victoria, you had a question? Is she still on? No. Yes. It's gone. Okay. All right.
Rita was asking, where is the spreadsheet feature in Canva?
Oh, the spreadsheet, I just used a Google spreadsheet and then downloaded that as a CSV file to either upload the data manually or to upload it using the CSV file. Go back to the recording when it's online, and if you're still stuck, by all means reach out, because I know it was a little bit fast. Everybody's so quiet. This always happens when I do Canva.
No, you're doing good.
All right, Jeff, how did we go? Did I give you some things to work on? Oh no, I'm talking about Jeff Summers.
For once, my mind is working
Yeah.
harder than my mouth.
I keep getting mixed up whether you're talking to me or Jeff Vail. But it's given me a lot of stuff to work on, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Excellent.
I've been trying to follow you, but I lost you way back in the beginning. So, but I have learned a lot on this Canva thing, and it's going to open some very interesting things for me.
Yeah, excellent, John. I really give that, I would encourage all of you to start saving your assets in that way and start saving your posts and make your life a lot easier, and give that bulk create a try.
I did notice some of the things were for the pro version. What does the pro version cost?
For Canva?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like $15, $20 a month.
US.
It's
Australian.
$160 a year, 20 a month.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
thank you.
very, very affordable.
Yeah, I've just paid the $20 US for ChatGPT, and that's excellent. It's absolutely fantastic. Good value for money.
I'm yet to explore that. I've just paid for that, but I'm noticing in the chat feature where it says explore GPTs, there are things in there like coding. You can get ChatGPT to build your website as well. So I'm really looking forward to exploring some of those things. And just going back, Peter, you know, one of the things I talked about in terms of creating that context, if there are any marketers that you follow, if there are any people in your particular profession. So or when you're in the PR space and people that are killing it, there's no reason why you couldn't ask ChatGPT to emulate or to model some of those people that you really like in terms of their work, whether it's their voice or the style of content that they put out.
Thank you, Jen.
All right, welcome.
Thank you. That's very interesting. I found you on LinkedIn, so I sent a connection thing. to
Okay,
you.
perfect. Well, feel free to send me your creations. I look forward to seeing what you put together.
Excellent session. Did you learn some things? Fabulous. So that there really, I think, has just scratched some of the surface of it. Some of the innovations with AI and using like ChatGPT and Canva together, there's some pretty incredible sort of things that you can do with it now. So that really has scratched the surface of it, but yet there was just sort of so much in there. So we'll probably, if we sort of looked at running some form of a program to help you with some of the AI tools and Canva and using it in business, is that the sort of thing that might be of interest at some point in the future? Yep, perfect. All right, well, if we do, well, I'll twist Jenny's arm and see if we can get her to come back again at some point, and we can do a bit of a deep dive into some else. Excellent. Well, let's give Jenny a hand for all of the knowledge that she shared with us today. I know she's been working pretty hard to put this together and has been having a field day exploring some of those apps and tools. So I feel like I've been left in the dust a bit over the past couple of days. All right. And now, look, if you do want to reach out at all as well, too, feel free to obviously connect with Jenny, myself on LinkedIn, or shoot through a message by email, messenger, whichever is your preferred form. Any questions at all about this, then, yep, so both Jenny and I are happy to help with that. Now, we do have a draw tonight as well, too. As someone mentioned here, we have been running the Canva programs, well, I think we've done about 3 of those so far. We're about to do another one because things have changed so much with Canva. But the prize tonight is we have recorded the previous sessions that we've done on Canva. And those ones there are for sale on our website for anyone that wants to purchase it. But we do have those sessions, or the latest session there, which will offer up as a prize for those that want to have a deep dive and learn a bit more about Canva. So the way this works is we have a wheel of names. So JM, let's bring up that wheel of names. And everybody's name is in this wheel of names that's here tonight. Of course, you need to be still in the room to win. So now's not the time to disappear. And fingers crossed that the winner is not someone that was actually in the course and done the course. If it is, we'll organise something else. So let's spin the wheel, see who our lucky winner is. Actually, often it's the person, someone that's contributed fairly well during the evening. So let's see how that works. Look at that. Dr. Chris, eh? Fabulous. It always works out that way. Someone who has the loudest voice or contributed something through the session. So well done. Well, I'll connect up with you during the week and we'll organise to get that through to you.
Thank you very much. That's great. Thanks. Much appreciated.
Fabulous. Excellent. All right. Well, look, thanks everyone for coming along tonight. Look forward to seeing some of your Canva creations out there on the wild on social media. And John, have you got a question? Have you?
All I need, I just want to say, I love the shirt, the watermelon shirt.
Thank you. I'd like to say that I made this on Canva, but it hasn't quite got to that point yet. I should say, actually, the replay of this will be up on the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. So if you do want to watch it again, we'll drop the link. Actually, the link for that is in chat. Now's a good time to save the chat because it's got all of the links in there for those apps and tools to explore for YouTube. If you want to watch the replays, if you know anyone else that's interested in it or that happens to mention, I don't know anything about Canva, feel free to give them a link and point them to that channel as well too. All right, we'll be back here next week with another thrilling topic. So look forward to seeing you then and have a good evening.